Good morning, everybody. We've got a great class coming up today. We're starting with some discussions of some questions I posed to the children's students. The first thing we're going to do, and then after that, we're going to have some performances of violin and piano. So I'm going to play three pieces from the favorite composers of three students. And I'm not going to play the whole piece, but I'm going to play part of it. And then we're going to see if we can guess who chose that one. I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh yeah. Say I got a woman way over town good to me. Oh yeah. Okay, so you can jot down who do you think chose that one? Here's the next one. Come on, we sing together. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, a feet made fair, and there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. And here is our third one.
I'm alone.
Okay, so the first one was the Ray Charles. Does anybody have an idea who here might have picked the Ray Charles? Three, two, one. Okay, Emmett, say it was me.
It was me.
This was Emmett. He's been studying with me for a while, and I'm so happy to see you here today. The second one was actually chosen by two different people, and it was the Hill Song, Where Feet May Fall with the Oceans. Does anybody have a guess who picked that one? Oh, I see some people giggling. Three, two, one, identify yourselves. Woohoo! All right. And the third one was John Williams. And the person conducting that actually is John Williams, by the way. Anybody have an idea who picked that one, the Star Wars? All right, three, two, one, identify yourself.
It was
It was Connor. Connor, great.
I picked the Imperial March though, but
Yeah, what was the composer I was asking for? I didn't find that Imperial March. All right, great. And when I hear that the Ray Charles one, Emmett, what do you like about that one the most?
I like the tempo or the beat.
You like the beat? And then the smooth one was picked by Mason and Madeline. That was the Oceans. And I had so much fun listening to these because Madeline and Mason really love making a smooth sound when they play their music. So it made sense to me. And then Connor picked the heroic, majestic. John Williams does a lot of movie music. The second question was In learning to play your instrument, what was the most difficult? And the technique I'm talking about, the how-to of playing your instrument. What has been the biggest challenge that you've had to work on the hardest? Let's
Just
start with Mason. Let's start with Mason on that.
Definitely staying in tune and making the bow straight.
And keeping the bow straight. Good. Very good. What about you, Madeline?
Let's just say me and Mason have the same thing.
Okay, sounds good. And who else would like to pipe in? Maybe Aditya.
like reading and piano and I don't know yet in singing, but I think it's like reading and singing again.
Breathing and singing the words at the same time.
Yeah, like
And you
singing.
want to ask Emmett? Ask Emmett what his biggest challenge has been.
What's your biggest challenge? Well, reading the notes and probably learning my chords. Progression.
You're doing the chord progressions, aren't you? Yeah, he's doing them in 2 different keys now. The next question was, do you ever wonder what it would be like to play a different instrument? And if so, which instrument would that be? And I would like to start with Emmett on this one.
The drums would probably be different. And that would be my instrument of I want to play it when I get older.
You want to play the drums and you get older. And we did do a drum lesson once. I had heard a little rumor that you were interested in playing the harp. Very nice. Do you know it's the oldest stringed instrument? Way back to 1200s. It's one of the oldest instruments that we have. It was the alien harp was even before then, and that was supposed to be played by the wind. So people made harps and they kept them outside so that a wind would come in and make the sound. And I did it myself once. I'll show you. When I was in the Sahara Desert in Egypt, it was the morning after I did the recording, and I went to take some pictures of my violin out in front of the pyramids and so forth. And when I had the violin sitting on top of the stand, the winds in the Sahara Desert came through and started vibrating my strings. So it was this type of sound without the plucking sound. So there was no attack on the sound. It was just whoosh, and we could hear the strings vibrating. It was really, really beautiful. So that's actually how the original harp was played. It wasn't played by plucking. It was played by the wind. What about you, Mason? What's the other instrument you thought might be fun to play?
Guitar or piano.
Guitar or piano? Nice. Why guitar?
Well, I already played guitar a little bit. I did a lot of lessons, a little bit of lessons a long time ago, and now I started playing again.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what would be interesting about the piano?
I don't know.
You don't have to worry about playing it in tune, do you?
Yeah.
But you gotta play with both hands. That's the thing about that. And I think that's what, do you want to ask your sister about that?
Like what would I play if I didn't play violin or something?
Yeah, if you weren't playing violin, what other instrument might you be interested in?
I'd probably play keyboard because it's easy and fun.
Aha.
Practically an electric piano.
Oh,
And
electric piano.
change what it sounds like and change its if it can do a beat.
Uh-huh.
And I've already learned a bunch of songs on it, and I absolutely love it.
Cool. You want to ask Annika?
Sure, Annika, what would you think?
Well, I've been like wanting to play a stringed instrument for a while, and I recently got a ukulele for my birthday, and so I've just started learning to play that.
Anybody else want to pipe in on that didn't answer earlier?
Maybe the oboe,
Who said that?
Aditya.
The oboe. What attracts you about the oboe?
The oboe, it's kind of like the flute. It's a little bit like the flute, and I like the flute, so I would like the oboe.
Right. Very good. And now we have a wonderful topic. One of my favorite, besides the metronome, is why are scales important? Who loves playing scales? Who would like to talk about scales? Maybe Annika?
Yeah, I really like scales because well they're important because like they really help your fingers except like because I play piano, so scales really help your fingers like dexterity and stuff, and they can really help with sight reading too, like being able to know your skills is really important.
For the sight reading. Nice. How about you, Connor? You want to tell us about, you've done more scales, I think, than anybody here. You even played the scales with 6 and 7 harps.
Yeah, that way you can easily like find all the sharps and flats in a piece, and also because that when like you play a scale, it just sort of like helps you to like understand like what like you're trying, like the pattern in your piece of all like the different like notes that you need to play, and that way it becomes like more like second nature to you, and not just a bunch of like random sharps everywhere.
I like that part where you said a bunch of random sharps. I think that's very true. If you haven't ever played the scale of a piece and you've got 3 or 4 sharps, you haven't figured up in your mind which notes are getting sharp. You know, they're just like popping up all over the place, right? Has anyone climbed up and down the stairs singing their scale? Who wants to try that out and tell us about it on Saturday? Hey, Shannon, did you ever actually do that? I know that was part of an assignment, maybe.
I did it once or twice, and honestly, I felt a little bit silly doing it. Yeah. The thing is, I can't do 2 or 3 things at a time. I can only do maybe 1, maximum 2 things at a time. So I can either walk or chew gum. So going up the stairs and doing the scales, yeah, it's not going to work for me. Yeah.
The last question today, second to last question, was when you decided to learn to play music, was it because you heard someone live at a concert or a friend played for you at their place, at their house, or maybe because you heard something on YouTube? And I think I'd like to hear from Mason first on that.
It was actually none of those. It was our mom wanted us to be able to have that skill to be able to play an instrument, and it was just part of our homeschool curriculum.
So this was your mom?
It's part of our homeschool.
Uh-huh. Very nice. And Annika, I don't know you too well. Tell me.
So my dad's able to play the piano, and we had a piano even before I started taking lessons, and so it's always just been there, and I've just wanted to know how to play it, and so I started taking lessons, and I really like it.
Very nice. And Aditya.
So basically, I took piano lessons like 6 years ago, and then I quit. And then 4 years later, I took piano lessons again. And then in the middle of like 2021 and 2020, I signed up for singing lessons. So now I'm doing singing and piano.
Very good. And Aditya, did you still want to ask everybody what they're working on?
What piece are you working on?
I'm not working, I'm working on several pieces. You want to ask some of the other people here today?
Yeah.
What
What
do you-
piece is Jared working on?
Well,
Sorry?
that's a good question. I'm working on a lot of different pieces, but I'm working on Brahms Violin Sonata in A major, and a few pieces by Ravel, and the piece you're going to hear today, a few other small ones.
Monica, what are you working on?
I am working on, okay, I don't know how to pronounce it, but like Ekose. I don't actually remember who it's by, but I've recently started working on that. So
Anybody else want to pipe in with anything about any of the questions? Or maybe somebody sees somebody here they'd like to ask a question of them or tell them about something? It's hard to pretend like we're all in a room together like we used to do. Okay, so I think we're going to end our segment now of the questions. And next we have Naomi. Naomi is playing Turkey in the Straw. And I believe this is the first piece that you've really worked on getting quickly, getting it fast.
The speed, yeah.
Yeah, we have at least two students today that are performing something that they were assigned to get it at a very quick tempo. Okay, you want to say the name of your piece?
Oh yes. I will be performing Turkey in the Straw.
Wow, good, good, thank you. Isn't it scary to perform those faster pieces?
Yeah, I was getting really nervous and I messed up.
Yeah, it's an awful thing, huh?
Yeah.
So did we do the warm-ups today, the ones we talked about at the lesson?
Yes.
We did. Okay, so what happened here today, what do you think you need to do more of next time when you're performing?
I would say playing in tune. I feel like I stumbled over some of the notes, and looking ahead before I played the note, because I think I was rushing it too much. I don't know.
Yeah, well, what would you change in your warm-up to help ensure that that doesn't happen?
Um,
See if you can figure that out.
I would probably start with playing much slower the piece at a slower speed. I would probably do that next time.
Right, right. Did you play it slowly today?
No, I was playing it really fast because the whole week I was playing it trying to play it really slow because I tend to speed up when I play a piece. And so today I try to do it really, really fast, but I think that was the wrong decision to start off the warm-up. So yeah.
So did you do the fast play as part of your warm-up, or you're saying you when you performed it you did it really fast?
No, for my warm-up I did it really quickly, and I think that's the reason why I kind of stumbled. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was the problem.
Yeah.
That was the problem. And this goes for everybody. Most people do play too fast when they perform until they really, really get used to performing. And they've been playing for a long time. For this piece, it would be a slowly, but just, I call it wonking. Some of you, Connor knows about wonking, and maybe Shannon does too, but it's like this. Is the bow straight? Just one note at a time before you perform, just to check in with every single one of your friends and make sure your friends are the notes. Just make sure all your friends are in the room, you know?
Mhm.
Because you know the rhythm, you know the bowing, you know that's all going to come together. I just think it's a really good idea to play it very slowly and mindfully. I think it really works well with a piece that you've been playing for quite a while, too. All right, Naomi, thank you. Did you want to do any of this over again?
Yes.
You do?
Can I?
Can we do the ending? Can we work on the ending a little bit?
Yeah. Coda?
The ending, yeah, so it's like this. 2, 3, 4. Bum! So we're going to put the bow on the string during that rest.
Okay.
Okay. Nope.
No.
You're coming in from a bow. I wouldn't do it. I would do it more like this, and there's half steps in there, by the way. Half steps. Rest. Put the bow on the string, and you're going to press most on the middle note. So it looks like the slow motion, you're landing first, and then you push the bow. I'm exaggerating so you could hear that sound of the bow firmly on the string. So let's work on that at your next lesson, okay?
Okay.
All righty. Next we have Connor. So Connor, would you like to announce your song, and do you want to talk about your first competition coming up?
Okay, so I am playing Prelude number 6 in F minor, and I have a competition coming up on March 30th that I'll be doing with this piece.
And the composer is Timothy Brown. One of your favorite composers, I know. Thank you. That was very nice. Very nice. Is there anything you've been playing for a few years? Is there anything you would like to change about that if you had a chance to do it again?
Probably like where I mean, it just wasn't like as fast as it's supposed to be, but so I guess I would have to make that a little bit faster, but yeah, probably a little bit on the dynamics a little bit. Because I can never get those perfect.
Right. And the speaker's a little bit close to the piano, so there's some parts that you may be playing softer that we're not really getting as much. There was something I wanted to just mention to you. There is a ritardando at the end of 20. We can have a little bit more of that before the recap. Do you see the little rit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a little bit of that. And then, we have this theme. The other point is we have this thing, da 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 da. When you play it slowly, there's a sense of sadness in there. How do we get that when you're playing it really fast? And the way we do that is by having the arpeggio notes, the 16th notes underneath the top notes. Just make sure none of those pop out. So you're hearing them not so busy there, so we can feel that descending, sinking feeling there. I'm not going to ask you to try to do that right now. I would love to hear you play it again and see if you can put that ritardando.
Okay.
One more thing. Do you want to try it faster?
I could do that this time, yeah.
Okay. Wow, nice. Very nice.
Who was the composer?
That was exciting to me. Does anybody else want to talk about this?
Yeah, who's the composer again? I want to check that one out.
Timothy Brown. I think that has a Rachmaninoff feel to that. Yeah, I felt the excitement in there, and I did get that sadness piece in there. I think you were able to make a quick adjustment on there. How did you feel about that? Was it scary, or did you feel secure performing it at that tempo today, Connor?
Not that secure, but I wasn't like scared. It was just sort of like, probably it might mess up here, but I sort of lucked out, I guess. I don't know. I just sort of lucked out a little bit. I got lucky.
You got lucky, huh? I think that was a really neat thing you said, Connor, about, well, I got lucky on this. And for me as a performer, when I have to play something real fast, I always feel like that afterwards. I go, well, how lucky was I there? Because in the moment, it all happens, and it's hard to know exactly what's going on and how it just happens so fast. What about you, Jared? You want to weigh in on that when you're playing something that's a bit risky?
Yeah, I mean, human beings are not machines, right? So it depends on the time of day, depends on the audience, depends on what crossed your mind before you went up there. And I think that's the thrill of it, both for performers and for the audience. I mean, I remember going to Symphony Hall in Chicago, and you hear people make mistakes there too. So everybody's human.
That's interesting what you said by, who's in the audience, what kind of audience you have. Connor, I had the feeling just now when you played that the connection with your music was just the same as it would have been with a live audience. And the same things happened. And I felt that you were vested in your performance too. You really cared about how well it came off today. That was my feeling when I heard you play today. That you really wanted to do this the best you could. And that's also a part of communicating. You're just really caring. It's not, even though we don't have a room in front of us full of people, to really care enough about our audience and to care enough about our music to really put that forth. And I thank you. It was really good. It was really good. Thank you. Take a bow if you like. Abigail, would you like to announce your piece?
Yeah. I'll be playing Mont's tune. All right, ready?
Yes. Wow. Bravo. Bravo. I don't have much to say this time. I'm so excited.
I worked on that a ton. I'm glad to see it paid off. That's nice.
It sure did. You've almost doubled your practice time to get this down. So thank you for doing all that work. Yeah, it was full of life, and this is the first piece you've ever played really fast. Anybody want to make any comments on that? Somebody else is working on this, maybe. Well, thank you, Abigail. I think that was just absolutely awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Really nice. Let's see who's next. Madeline. We got the whole family there. The Mormino family. So good to see you all. Oh, Kitty. How many kitties you got in there?
Cat.
One cat or two?
Two. Over back here.
I saw that other little rascal back there. Mine aren't showing up today. Kind of glad. Is this your debut performance?
My name is Madeline, and I'm going to be playing Go Tell Aunt Rhody.
Oh, that's the song from the Suzuki book, which I played.
Cool.
job. Nice job.
Thank you.
So I would love for you to be a little bit more with the wrist out. So if you look at the top, look at how my fingers are really on top of this fingerboard. It's just like we would when we're playing the piano, you know. It's the same position. We just put them up here rather than this, you know. So what I'd love for you to work on between now and your lesson is to use the fourth finger. Just to put the fourth finger down. Last but not least, Jared, our host, is playing one of my absolute favorite pieces. And it was written in 1827. These Schubert Impromptus were what established pop music in the early 1800s. It's a lyrical, it's a serenade. This piece is a serenade. It has wonderful, long, long lines. Schubert was a great songwriter. He didn't live really long. I think it was after he died. I didn't look this up, but I do know that 30 years after he composed it, it was published. But it was published in a different key. Did you know that, Jared?
I had no idea.
Well, it was published in G major.
That doesn't, I mean, I guess it's easier to play, but it doesn't have the same sound, the same,
I think he
Or
did it
more.
after Schubert died. It wasn't very nice. Anyway, it's always played in G flat major with 6 flats. And I don't think I have anything else to say before you play it, unless you want to speak about your approach to it before you play it.
Well, like you said, it's very lyrical and it's this just long melody line. So the challenge is to get the melody lines, and then there's these sort of, it's very Schumann-esque. There's like notes in the middle that are filler, and then there's a bass line that accompanies it. So you have to get the treble line, you know, connected and singing out, and then you have to have the bass line matched, and then the notes in between just sort of flutter. And it's hard to get the balance right. But I guess if we can make it sing, then the rest of it falls into place.
Yes, it's supposed to sound a little bit like a harp.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Are you doing the unicorda?
You know, sort of a la carte. Sometimes I feel like, especially when there's a sudden pianissimo after the volume comes up a little bit.
Right.
But to be honest, I didn't mark it in my part, and I just sort of do it when I feel like it.
You have the lid up or down?
Just partially up, because if I put it all the way down, then you sometimes can't hear the articulation of the treble notes. The bass notes come out too strong.
I trust you on that.
All right, we'll see how it goes. You ready?
All right, thank you. Very nice, very nice. I think the unicorda thing is going to help. That was beautiful. This is one of my all-time favorites. Have you heard anybody else play this, Jared?
You know, I think the only most recent recording I heard might have been Vladimir Horowitz, one of his last performances. He plays it really slowly, and it's just beautiful.
It is. It truly is. I also have heard the kissing. The kissing.
I don't tend to like his recordings that much. I mean, he's very good, but it's not my taste. But
my suggestion for you to make it seem like a more whole, complete idea rather than a little. Some parts were a little bit. Maybe a little bit choppy. I would say whenever these arpeggio parts where you have 11 notes at a time, you know, where you play the first beat with the pinky and all the other ones. Let's call those the arpeggiated notes. I would say do not do crescendos in those. I would love to hear this again in March.
Sure.
If you don't mind, I'd like to give you a few ideas and then bring it back.
That's
One
great.
of them is, like I said, don't put those dynamics in the arpeggios. The crescendos are led by the bass notes. For example, well, on the last page, you have the descending passage, the G, the F flat, the D natural. That crescendo is led by the top notes. I would not put them in any other notes. And listen to the Horowitz and the Kissin and see if you can hear what I'm talking about with that. The other thing I was going to suggest, Jared, boy, you did a good job on this. Some parts I was like, oh, the Schubert just breaks my heart. And, you know, you got so much of that in here. I'm wondering if it wouldn't help a little bit to back up about 2 inches.
yeah, I was sitting too close. I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I couldn't. It made it hard for me to get to the unicorda. I'm too tall.
Oh, really?
Well, I was too far forward. I couldn't really get it.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, it sounded like you were too close, and it looked like it too. I mean, you were in the ballpark with the elbows being in front of, you know, your body, but I felt like we needed 2 more inches there. And here's the other thing: if you can, with your hands, with those arpeggio ones, can you play them with flatter fingers? Could I hear a little demo of that, like just the first line?
It's hard because then you lose the articulation on the pinky. Because then you go further, then you have to play the pinky flatter, and it makes it a bit harder to.
Let me watch that. Can you angle it down? I might be able to help you with that.
Sure. I'll just play from the beginning.
Just a little bit slower. Can you get the fingers flatter, the middle fingers, or not?
I can try. I mean, I'm already up against the fall board.
Oh shoot. Can you move the hand a little bit, giving you this view? Can you move the hand a little bit in?
finger goes up into the fallboard. I can play with it.
Maybe it'll work to do it the way you were before, Jared.
Mm-hmm.
It might try this because I don't think that idea is going to work if you're already on the fallboard. When we have our hand on the piano, we have the weight, this part of the hand and this side of the arm to be slightly weighted on the top fingers where you're doing the melody. Can we try that? Yes. That's it. That's it, Jared. That sounded a lot better to me.
Well, it's better. It's more from gravity than from pushing it.
It's gravity?
Yeah, it sounds from gravity rather than me pushing it down.
I thought it was very powerful. Let's play with that, with the technique of that, because it, see if you can do it pianissimo, same thing. Okay, good, good. Okay, Jared, this is the direction we want to go with this.
Got it.
It's going to be gorgeous when you do this. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to hear this in March. Beautiful job. Beautiful. I think those two things, leading the crescendos with the left hand, those bass notes, and leave the arpeggiated middle, leave them out of the scene with the dynamics. We will hear it, but we don't want them to be the instigator of these crescendos.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're ready to close out the class. Thank you all for coming and staying in the class. I see we've got a chat. Oh, we have Aditya said to Connor. Aditya had something for Connor. He said, nailed it. And Judy had some comments for Connor. This is nice. And Emmett said, wow. We got a good cheerleader in the group. Aditya. He's very verbal. He's talking about almost everybody. Nailed it. That's hilarious.
Yeah, Connor saw those.
He did?
Yes, he saw those.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming. Unmute yourselves. And let's give a good round of applause. Today we had some very well prepared performers. I was really excited to hear everybody. Thank you. See you March 20th.